You know, when humans make the conscious decision to fully leave behind the modern world and plunge themselves into the depths of nature, it is then that they can truly discover the essence of what it means to be human on this earth. In this video, we'll be deep in the backcountry, discovering what that means.
Alright guys, so Cedar and I are back in the mountains for a few days. I've got very little gear with me. Cedar's got all his water and food in his pack, and then I've got my bow along. There is a hunting season still going on in here, even though it is the middle of summer. So I've got my bow along just in case, and then just a few things stuck in my little fanny pack, and I'll show you guys what I have once we get up to our camp. We've got about 7.5 miles to our first stop, and we're gonna try to do some fishing, see if we can't find enough to stay fed for the next couple days. I didn't really bring any food. I do have one small little block of pemmican with me. No sleeping bag, no shelter of any kind, and we're just gonna see what happens. We are finding loads of huckleberries this year. There's tons of these things, and they're really, really good. And we found a few thimbleberries down on the creek. So if we can't catch any fish, at least we'll have berries to eat. We're gonna gain quite a bit of elevation, and even though it's warm right now, it is gonna cool off quite a bit this evening. So we'll have to figure out something to keep us off the ground, kind of insulate us while we're sleeping, and then kind of stay warm at night. Cedar and I were up here about a month ago, and we stopped at this very spot, look out across here, and we were standing on top of about 4 feet of snow right here. So this is a very different landscape than it was a month ago. We'll see. There may still be some snow up top on the very top, but I don't know. It's been pretty warm. We'll see once we get up there. So these are a bunch of our native bees here. We've got hundreds of varieties, hundreds of different species of native bees. So on our way up this trail, we've started getting into some goat sign. There's some tracks on the trail. Looks like some nannies and kids, and there's some hair right here. So they've been up and down this ridge. And a couple years ago, I was in here with my friend Xander Budnick. But anyway, there was some down here above the lake where we were going. We got some footage of them. So pretty cool animals. They spend their whole winter, the whole year in here up in this high country, and it's just absolutely brutal up here in the winter. And they'll be up there just happy as can be. Cedar, come here. It's like a grouse. So there's spruce grouse up here and a few blue grouse. I'm not sure what that comes from. Some sort of grouse. Some old bear scat. You can see the grass that he was eating. A little bit of hair in there. They found a winter kill. So this is one of the lakes that we could potentially stay at. We were here last time a month ago, and this thing was solid ice. There was one little open spot of water just on the other side of it, but looks like I might go jump in it today if we go to this one. Haven't decided where we're going yet. So we're gonna bypass this lake. I stayed down here with the boys a few years ago, and there's pretty good fishing in there, but the next lake is where the really good fishing at is. There's bigger fish in there, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful lake. So it's probably maybe another mile or so to that one. Should be there pretty quick. Almost there, buddy. it does have shells in it. All right, so we just made it to our lake down here, and I don't know if you can see on the camera, you can probably hear them in the mic, but there are gazillions of mosquitoes down here. And so I did bring a little bit of bug spray, and this is something, I've never used this stuff before. It's something somebody sent me recently. Zone Protects, it's Picardin or something like that. Never used this stuff, but I'm gonna give it a try. It's doing a pretty good job of keeping them off of me, but they're still getting through me. So we're just gonna go through what I brought. I didn't bring a lot of stuff, but just whatever I could fit inside this little fanny pack here. So we'll start with just my bot here. I'm kind of a water bottle slash cooking pot. Got a little O-ring up here so I can carry water in there if I need to. Make coffee in here. Brought a beanie cap for tonight because it's probably going to get pretty cold up here in this high country. Brought a little SOL bivvy. It's kind of emergency bivvy. I'm not sure exactly what this stuff is. Some kind of Tyvek, like foil back Tyvek. I used this last time I was in here. I brought my Tenkara rod, which is right here in my rod holder on my bow. So I've got that, and then this is my line and a couple of flies in there. Hopefully we'll catch some dinner with that. That is the total of the food that I brought in here. That's a piece of pemmican that I made last year, actually. It's just been sitting around since last year. I brought a little bit of wire, some snare wire. Probably not going to get around to using this. I brought this because there's ground squirrels around. Brought some electrolytes, a little bit of salt and pepper in case we catch some fish. Oh, about 30-40 feet of micro cord, kind of like paracord but smaller. Brought a knife. This is the Cedar 25 from MKC, and then I've got a little ferro rod duct taped to it. I've got some fishing line under here, and I've got one little spinner, like a little MEP spinner under there. My little silky folding saw. These things are awesome. This is the Gomboy 210. I brought a rock, which this rock's got a story, and I'll tell you why I brought this here in just a minute. I'm gonna leave that in there for the time being. On the bottom here, I've got just some extra layers, which I'm about to put on because these mosquitoes are eating my back up. I didn't bring anything except for merino wool on this trip. I've got a merino kind of mid layer here, and then I've got a heavier like a pullover, merino pullover. There is a hunting season going on right now, so I did bring my bow and I brought my binoculars. It's always nice to have a good set of binoculars for looking at birds, glassing the hillsides for critters. And then in my binoculars case, I've got a little light that I always carry. And then I've got the other knife, but I always this thing just lives in this binocular case. This is another little knife that I use for skinning critters. And that's pretty much all there is in there. Oh, I got my little inReach mini in case things go sideways. So the pack that Cedar's got on, I ordered, there's a company called Roughwear, and I don't remember exactly what this thing cost. It was 120 bucks or something like that. I took it on this when we went in here last month, and I liked it. It seemed to ride really well. You really have to have the packs balanced, otherwise they start to kind of lean off to one side. But the one thing that I did notice is there was a couple of times we were going down a real nasty hillside and there was a bunch of brush and everything, and when he would bump up against a tree, it would flip one of the packs over to the other side, and then it would just like almost turn over on him. But I mean, as far as just hiking on regular maintained trails, I think it's a good setup. And he's got all his dog food. He was carrying his own water in here. That's pretty much what's in this, is just dog food, which he'll be happy to get to tonight because he's gonna be hungry. So I think this might be where I'm gonna bed down tonight. There's a rotten log here, but I can take a bunch of this dry rotted wood and put right down in here. And it's kind of dished out, so all of it will stay in there. And I think I can make a pretty comfortable bed in here. So the trick with a good bough bed is to get her thick, and you can use, they have these branches that have curves in them. You can kind of use that as little springiness. So right now is about the worst time for the mosquitoes, right at sunset. I think when it cools off tonight, it should put the bugs to bed, so it shouldn't be too bad tonight. That'll work. That's pretty nice, actually. Where are you gonna sleep at? Right here? You gonna sleep right here? Oh, you gonna step on me? Come on. Oh, hey, come here. Lay down. Lay down. There you go. I know there's bugs. Stinking bugs. In this high country, the trees are really gnarly and the wood is hard. And a lot of times it's very difficult to find a section of wood that's long enough with straight enough grain where you can make a decent feather stick for getting a fire going with a ferro rod. So I just shaved off a bunch of little pieces. I'm gonna pile them up and see if we get this to light on fire. So these things attach kind of to the end of the rod with just like a sheet bend like that. So just got a little elk hair caddis fly on there. When we were out here last month, I stopped in a little creek up there and fished, and I was whipping my fly and somebody was chastising me for doing that, saying I was going to pop it off the end, but I don't have any kind of you can put Vaseline and stuff on these to keep them afloat, and I didn't have any of that stuff, so I was drying my fly off so it would float. Yeah, got some dinner, Cedar. Woohoo! What do you think? That's a nice one. Nice little rainbow trout. Up here in these lakes we have cutthroat and rainbow. And there's a couple of, they're different colors, but sometimes they'll hybridize. But rainbows will always have these white tips on their pectoral fins, or whatever these are called. I don't know what those are called. And they of course don't have the slashes, the red slashes. Man, I'd like to get a couple more like that, maybe just one more tonight, and then I'd like to get about 6 tomorrow and smoke them. Then we'll go exploring. Try to get away from some of these bugs. Look at that, look at that. There's goats right there. nice one. That's a good one there. If I can get him in. Yes. Look at that. All right. That is better than I could have hoped for. What do you think, Cedar? You want some fish tonight? Oh, that's gonna be so good. A fatty right there. So I'm gonna take these fish heads and put them in my little pot and stew them up with a little salt and pepper, and then just kind of roast these fillets over the fire. Beautiful. Cedar, come here, get some of this. Oh, is it too hot? Nah, you can eat that. I'm glad I brought some salt and pepper. Usually, when I do that, I jinx myself. But, worked out this time. That was really good. See if I can pull this backbone off here. Look at that. I'm over it. Done. Put in my 8 hours. Oh, so it's starting to kind of cool off a little bit. Most of the mosquitoes have gone away. There's still a few buzzing around, but nothing like it was. I think they'll all go away here in just a little bit. We'll get a decent night's sleep. So those fish heads in here, I just kind of cooked them down a little bit and added a little salt and pepper, and it's actually a really nice broth. But that's where a lot of the fat in a fish is in their heads. Well, it is getting pretty late. It's probably close to 11 p.m. But had a good day. Long day, but a good day. Had a nice hike in here. Wasn't too hot. Found a nice spot to bed down. Nice kind of rotten tree. And little boughs on top of that, and made a pretty nice bed. Caught a few fish, so going to bed with a full belly. And the mosquitoes are still buzzing around a little bit, but they're not nearly as bad as they were. I think I think they'll lay down here completely before too long. I am whipped, and I'll see y'all in the morning. The mosquitoes are back. These mosquitoes are crazy. So there was one more thing in my pack that I didn't show you last night. That was, I forgot I had some coffee stuck down in this little bivy sack here. So I got a couple things of instant coffee. Look. Look. Mountain goats. So many skeeters down here, I can't keep them out of my coffee. Just in your eyes, up your nose. So I caught an extra fish last night and didn't want to eat it, so I just filleted it, and then you cut diagonally, and which when you hang it from the tail, it allows all that meat to kind of fold out and dries a lot quicker. But just hanging it kind of by the fire overnight, and it's dry. Tastes like smoked trout. So we tried to do some fishing this morning and ended up catching one little rainbow, but they just weren't very active. Not much going on the surface. So we got our breakfast anyway, so we'll head back to camp and build the fire up and cook this guy up. That right there is probably the oldest method of cooking known to man. fish skin is good. There's a lot of the fat is in the skin. You guys might have noticed that I didn't have to carry any camera equipment on this trip. Well, that's because the man behind the camera is our new intern, River. We hired River, and he's gonna be sharing a lot of our adventures this year, making it easier on us, capturing some good video. But what he didn't know when he signed on was that there's an initiation that when you come to an alpine lake, you have to eat a fish eyeball, and I got 2 of them right here for him. So River, here you go, buddy. You gotta suck it right out of the head.
Okay.
Dang, doubling down. How's that?
Good calories.
They didn't gag, folks. That's good quality.
All right, I think I deserve a little bit of that now.
And River has his own YouTube channel called All Things Wild. Go check it out. And that's so good. Five star. So it's about mid-morning on day number 2. We went fishing this morning, but caught one fish. Didn't have a lot of luck though. They just weren't very active. But there's another lake that's down if we drop in elevation a little bit. So we're just gonna go kind of take a walk and head down there and see what's going on down there. Maybe catch some fish. But the real reason I want to go down there is I want to see if the huckleberries are ripe down there. There's huckleberries up here, but they're still green, and have found a few ripe ones, but most of them are not ripe yet. So I'm thinking maybe if we drop down there, we can find some ripe ones and maybe find some fish. But anyway, we're gonna go on a little adventure. Come on, buddy, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. What you got there, buddy? All right, folks, so we're just going to take a moment to do our section on woods wise. Now, in the last adventure video, I showed a plant and asked for you guys to identify it and give me 2 uses for it. And that could be medicinal, structural, who knows. So the species that I showed is devil's club. And the first person to correctly identify that and give me 2 commonly accepted uses was goody goat. So good eye on that. The uses that they stated was that you can use the bark as a pain reliever, and you can also use it to treat head lice. It's also got a whole bunch of other uses aside from that, and it was even said to ward off evil spirits. So for this week's Woods Wise, we're going to kind of stick with the theme of this whole trip, which has been bugs. And so the first person that can give me 2 natural insect repellents is going to get a shout out in the next adventure video. Just leave them in the comments, and also if you've ever used them, let me know what your experience was with them. So good luck, and back to the show. So we're miles from any kind of road or anything like that. So people would have to bring this stuff in, either on a horse or on their back. I don't get it when they just leave stuff in here. Anyway, I picked this up because it's been chewed on by a bear. All these are all tooth marks. Did a number on it. Maybe that's why they left it. A bear came in the middle of the night and then they all just left, ran away. Got to take it right there. Boom.
Yeah, baby.
Man, this is a beautiful fish. That they don't get much prettier than that. Cedar. Not quite as bright as the last one. One headed towards it. He's about to take it. Oh, turned away. Hey, little one. Oh. Little one right here. Oh, short striking. Here we go. Calm down there, kid. It's a little hybrid, cutthroat rainbow hybrid. Come on, take it. Yes. Oh no, he broke my fly off. Oh, that was so good. Oh, it's that time. Well, there's a few that's kind of somewhat right, but nothing like on the other side of the hill. So on my last video where I was in here, I got a bunch of questions in the comments from guys asking what my plan was if I had killed a bear in here. And it's a really good question. I'm glad you guys asked, and I should have addressed that in that video. But we're a long way from the trailhead. It's warm weather, and so, you know, the problem of what you do with meat in a situation like this comes up. My plan was to pack out what I could that day, dig a hole in a snowbank, cache the rest of it in the snowbank, and then come back up and get it the next day. Now, when I went down through that draw, it was very nasty, and I would not have taken out the rest of it that way. What I would have done is pack the rest of it to the ridge and then come back and just walk this ridge trail out over the next day, maybe 2 days it would have taken me to get out. But buried in a snowbank like that would be perfectly fine. I think Cedar, that'll burn for a while, won't it? Never tried to pull a core out of microcord before. All right, Cedar. Might work. So I'm going to try to heat this wire up and melt this nylon string so it doesn't come unraveled. Not bad for some paracord, some goat hair, and a little dog hair. If something eats it within the first 3 or 4 casts before it falls apart, we might have a chance of catching something. It's sinking. I freaking had one. I had one. Dang it. Well, it is, oh, I know. It's our last evening in camp. We're gonna pack it up in the morning. Had a pretty good day today, did some exploring, went and checked out another lake, caught some cutthroat down there that were absolutely gorgeous, but we were pretty good ways from camp, and so I just went and turned them loose. Did a little bit of fishing out here this evening with a fly that I tied with just some random stuff around camp here, and had several bites, but never could hook a fish. I actually had one hooked, but it came out. But I had a little bit of pemmican left, and so I went ahead and ate that. And we're gonna crawl in the sack here in a little bit once it gets dark, and hopefully get a good night's sleep. The mosquitoes are pretty rough right now, but I hope that they do kind of like they did last night. and kind of just mellow out for the most part. Alright folks, I'm turning in for the night. It's I don't know, 9:30 or something like that. But I am whipped. So I've got a big rock here that was heating up near the fire, and I can put my hand on it. It's not too awful hot, but it's pretty doggone hot. But I'm just going to leave it there until it cools off tonight, and I'll go ahead and just bring it down and kind of snuggle up next to it, and that'll help keep me warm. Got a little bit chilled last night and had to get up and get a couple of rocks, so this one should hold heat for a pretty good while. Anyway, good day, and looks like it's going to be a nice, beautiful night. Hopefully the skeeters ain't too bad, and we'll see you in the morning. Got a little more sleep last night. Well, it cooled off a little bit more last night, and the mosquitoes completely went away. They just came back here within the last hour or so. But Cedar's already up and about, doing something, exploring. Ready for some breakfast? So there's not a lot of moss on the ground around here, but there are lichens in the trees. And this is nature's wet wipes. Oh no! That was dumb. Mosquito in my coffee. I think a lot of our modern gear and conveniences that we carry with us oftentimes kind of shields us, insulates us from what nature truly is. And I do like my sleeping bags, I like my tents, my air mattresses, but every now and then I like to leave those things behind and kind of come out and just recalibrate. You know, when you experience discomfort or constant annoyance like these bugs, it helps you to be comfortable in less than comfortable situations, I guess. Even on a regular trip, you know, where you'd have tents and, you know, all the modern conveniences, it can still get uncomfortable. But coming out and doing stuff like this just kind of recalibrates that scale, that understanding of what comfort and discomfort is. And it lowers your expectations for comfort. The weather on this trip has been amazing. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. Oh, I see some goats. They're on the other side of the lake. Never seen them over there before. You probably can't see them with this lens, but they're right in kind of that stuff. I didn't intend for this to be this way, but the way this log is set out, you could walk right by this thing because it's kind of down in, the bed is down in this little dip between the logs. You walk right by this thing within feet of it and never know that there was anybody staying there unless you got right up on it. Be interesting to see how long this thing lasts doing stuff like this. It's actually held up pretty good. Well, it's morning of day 3, and despite all of the bugs, I've had a good time on this trip. We're in beautiful country. We're looking at mountain goats every day, sleeping in the woods. It's quiet. There's nobody around, catching fish, and just having a good time. But I am ready to go home. We're gonna go ahead and just get everything packed up and hit the trail, and it'll take us several hours to get back. So there's one other thing in my pack that I've been toting around on this trip, and this is something that Finn actually found last year when we were on our elk hunt, our backcountry elk hunt. And it's a rock with a picture of a young man named Aiden, and it says, "In memory of Aiden, 2005 to 2023. Aiden was part of a family of 6 who loved to travel. Sadly, Aiden passed away before he was able to go on all of life's adventures he wanted to. Take him with you on an adventure and tell us where he got to go. Hashtag Aiden's Adventures to 2023. So I've got 2 boys that are pretty close to Aiden's age when he passed away, and so as a father that kind of hit me pretty hard. So we're gonna leave this right here overlooking the lake, and hopefully this means something to Aiden's family and friends, and hopefully somebody else will pick it up and take it on another adventure." Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that one, and we'll see you on the next one.